just put a Repro muffler on my Honda C100. If you want to get a new muffler, they all come from Thailand. With shipping, it's about $200. From a distance, it looks great, and even close up, it's approximately good enough with some branding hidden on the bike-facing side and some differences here and there that seem small at first. The process of installing it is easy if you don't care about things lining up correctly. But it's not impossible to make it work. The muffler itself is mounted here, here, and here, and the exhaust is mounted up here. This gasket kit comes with a composite exhaust gasket, which, you know what? None of my bikes had exhaust gaskets when I got them, and when I try and install them, they just make everything stick out further. So, I don't use them. Am I missing something? I don't know. But anyways, putting on the muffler end first. Before you put it together, make sure this exhaust sleeve is facing into the exhaust hole. Then connect the exhaust pipe to the muffler. This is where you find out if everything will line up correctly. Who knows? Maybe it will. Maybe they're just not made accurately. Maybe there are different brands that are subtly different. I don't know what the spacing differences are between different bike models, but really, for Cubs from 1958 to 1965, it's highly likely they kept the same muffler design. It's not like this is a C50 muffler repro. And again, maybe they don't make these all super accurately, but I had to take the muffler off and do a lot of shaving and bending here and there. And the first hint that something wasn't right is that I couldn't put the last bolt on. Also, when you look at it from the top, the muffler isn't parallel with the frame, kind of sticks out. Compared to my old muffler, everything is a little thicker at the front, so it's bumping on the kickstart and the brake lever. So I'm grinding down a little to give it some space and widening the top mounting hole so it can slide back a little more. But if I ever hope to screw that last bolt on, this doesn't help.
Oh, it's always something, isn't it?
If it was set just an inch towards the rear, this wouldn't be such a big deal. It might still be crooked, but at least I'd have room to deal with that. So these are some things I did that did not work. The reason it's sticking out weird is because the angle of the exhaust pipe is pointing outwards, but hitting it with this mallet didn't move it at all. This is very rigid metal. I'm sure there is better pipe bending technology out there, but this was not a solution for me. I also tried getting it to bend in by offsetting the mount with a bolt. So when I tightened the rear, it would pull the end in, but all it did was bend the mounting bracket. Again, it's all very rigid, so the muffler is still following the path of the pipe. So I ended up using my old pipe along with the exhaust gasket that I said I wasn't going to use because having everything stick out a little more made it line up better. Since I bent my mounting bracket, I stuck with the Allen bolts that came from a C100 engine kit and kept the nut in there, but I had to cut down the rear bolt so it wouldn't be sticking through too far, and it's close enough for me. And by doing it this way, I never would have had to waste all my time making those mounting holes bigger. So this is how it sounds. While trying to get it to mount correctly, I think I broke a piece of the baffle loose. I can see it moving around in there behind the first plate. If my leftover JB weld that I used last month hadn't dried up, I would have used that. But I packed high temperature gasket cement in the two vertical slots that seem to make up a baffle. And it's my hope that it will fill the space and dampen the rattle of metal on metal. Again, it's close enough for me. Old Muffler is not a good reference on how an original muffler should sound, but for the sake of comparison, yeah, what happened to my old muffler? I think the bike was in an accident at some point, and it probably got crushed and just cut it off. The actual tone, I was fine with it. I wonder if these are supposed to be C100-like mufflers for newer 1990s Asian market Cubs. Probably not. They're probably just not very accurate, even though there is calibration room. It's too bad, because it is a really good looking muffler. Of all the repro stuff I put on this bike, I was saying that the taillight was my biggest time sink. Second place would have to go to this muffler. I mean, it's better quality, it's metal, but buy with caution, and hopefully you can clean up your original exhaust pipe, because you're gonna need it. Maybe.